Welcome to lesson 22 in Learn the Shot that Swings for Free. Now, in this week's series of 3 little videos, I want to do a bit of recapping and add some fresh information. When I first started teaching golf in the early 70s, I would go out as a young assistant and earnestly give the pupil 2 or 3 pieces of information. Lesson 2, 2 or 3 more pieces, and so on. The effect was that after 10 lessons, the pupil had a 30-piece jigsaw puzzle in their head and no lid with the overview. Now, if you think about the way you do a jigsaw puzzle, you start off with 100 or 150 or even 1,000 pieces, but the 1,000 pieces end up being one image. So some 40 years on from then, when I go out and teach, I'm always aware of that. And I always say to my pupils, everything that I know and everything that you need to know has to fit on the back of a matchbox. And you're familiar by now with the 3 phrases. We've got to prepare for balance, which is the setup. We've got to coil in balance, which is the backswing. And we've got to release in balance, which is the through swing. And as you know, we prepare mentally, that manifests physically. Stage 2 is creating power. That's predominantly a shoulder coil. And then we release the power through the hand action. So there we have it. That's the first of the 3 stages. Prepare for balance. And that's what I'm going to deal with in this little clip. So here we go. On the golf course, I'm playing here on a nice tree-lined fairway. You can see there's a white line and a marker post to give us some alignment. I'm going to hit a 6 iron. Now remember, when you put the club behind the ball, you know 3 things. You know the height of your hands. That's too low and that's too high. You know your distance from the golf ball. That's too far away and that's too near. And lastly, you'll learn the angle of the spine from the club maker. So when we prepare for balance, which is the setup, we've got to respond to the club. You've got 13 long clubs in your bag. They've all got a different shape, different lie. And this is the DNA. In the club is the DNA of your swing. Your swing will be affected by the length of the club and the lie of the head. So here we go. I've got my left opposite the ball, and I step in, and very simply, I aim the club down the target line. The face is going down the target line. Because this is a 6 iron, the handle is slightly over the ball. But this is the big one in this section. We've got a tip from the hip to build the grip. So it's no good sort of swinging your arm up here. If you lean forward to build your grip, like a plumb bob, as I do that, you can see that it has created a spinal angle for me. I complete my grip and I plant my feet last of all. I think you can imagine, if this were a wedge, I'd be leaning much lower. Or if it were a driver, I'd be leaning further back and further from the ball. Because this is a 6 iron, when I go through the ritual, I offer the club, I tip from the hip to build the grip, and I've found myself in balance. I so often get asked, how do I know how far to stand from the ball? What height should my hands be? And the answer is, it's all in the club. Aim the club, tip from the hip to build the grip, and plant the feet last of all. Now again, you drape your feet under your hips and under your shoulder line. If your weight was on your heels, you're too close. If your weight's on your toes, you're too far away. And that's why you always do it in that order. It's club, grip, shoulders, feet. Club, grip, shoulders, feet. Always use that sequence. So here we go. Off the club, tip from the hip to build the grip. Now take my stance. So I've now prepared for balance. All I'm going to do now is coil and release in balance. So there you go. Stage 1 of 3, prepare for balance.